Hello and welcome to another video from the folks here at PowerPivotPro. I'm Reid Havens. I am the blog editor and contributing principal consultant at PowerPivotPro, and I want to walk you today through some really awesome features that have just come out with bookmarks. Now, for those of you familiar with bookmarks, you're aware that for the last 6 months or so, they've been available in Power BI Desktop as a feature, and one of the things you've been able to do with them is link slicer selections originally. Even later on, you were able to also hide and show objects on the report page and have it toggle between various visual elements. Now what's really cool is just this month, right up here, they added an option for bookmark buttons that you can link to actions as well. So all of these in here are available to add as buttons onto the page, and the result can end up looking something like this here. See this little button right in the middle, that info button? Well, let's take a look. If we click on it, it pops up this really nice, well-designed little kind of pop-up window that you can use. You can put links, you can put all these things in here, elements such as a logo or an image as well, pretty much anything you want. And you can have this kind of similarly mirroring a website interface, and pretty much any kind of information you'd want to display in here can be used for that. Now what I want to do is I want to walk you through step by step how to do that. That way you can implement that in your own reports as well. Alright, so let's get started. So what I have here now is an unedited workbook that does not have that button or any of the bookmarks in here yet. So let's go ahead and start building that one at a time and get all of those things added in here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this little guy right here, scoot you down so I can make some room for my bookmark button. I'm going to put it right there in the middle. Alright, I'm going to go to Home, going to navigate over to Buttons. I'm going to start with this little information button right here in the middle. And I will add it up into the corner, so I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. There we are. Stick that in the middle. And actually, since it's not quite centered, I'm going to temporarily turn off my snapped object so I can get this dead centered with with the line there. Alright. And then go ahead and turn the snap back on. Put these two into here, and there you go. There's the first button that I want. Now I'm going to have two buttons total that I want to do. I want my information button, and eventually I'm also going to want that back button as the other thing too. Now, that's when the text box is open. I want to be able to click on a back button to then have it go away. So instead of reproducing that from scratch, I'm just going to go ahead and Control C and then Control V on this to create a second one of those, which will work perfectly, and that way it remains the same size and consistency. So that's going to go ahead and hang out here, and let's go to the icon over in this section, and you'll notice that there's a whole lot of cool settings in here. I can do transparency, line, color, all sorts of stuff, but I'm just fine with all the default settings, and I'm going to go ahead and change it down here from information. I'm going to change it to back. There we are. Now a couple of important things that we want to turn on too while we're doing all of this. Let's go up to our View tab up here. Let's go ahead and click on Bookmarks and Section or Selection Pane. These two are very important right here because this determines the sort order for all of our stuff that we want. Now I'm going to add a few other things into here as well. I'm going to go ahead and put a text box and get that in. So there we are. Now what it does is it by default adds it to like the very, very bottom of your selection list. I want that to the top, this text box that I have. Let's go ahead and go over to Format, bring to Front. There we are. And that's actually going to sit right here in the middle because that's going to be the text box with all of my information that I want. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my section for my text box, and I'm going to do a couple things to it. So the background, I'm going to go ahead and turn on, and I'm going to give that about let's give it a 10% the opaqueness right here, the transparency. And what I like in that is it shows a little bit of the background and kind of really hits in on the idea that it's like a pop-up floating on top of all this stuff. So that's going to go right there. Perfect. Now you notice that this is at the top, so my little button, my back button's hidden behind that. So I actually want to put that under my selection pane, kick that up right there, and that's actually going to go right into the corner. Oop. Looks like it resized it on me. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to stick that right into the corner of my box. Now one other thing that I want to add to this text box too that I didn't turn on yet go ahead and turn on that border as well. So there we go. See, that it looks very similar to the one that I had completed. There's a little button right here in the corner. There's the border around this text box. And now I can go ahead and type in some information. So let's say, just like I had before, I'm going to do change it to Seago. Normal font. There we go. Created by Reid Havens. And make that a little bit bigger. Let's give that a nice, there we go, 24 size font. Perfect. Alright. And you know what? One other thing that I wanted to add in here too, let's go ahead and put in that PowerPivot logo in here. So I'm going to go navigate to image. I'm going to go put in a logo right into here. See, there it is, PowerPivotPro. Let's stick that. Perfect. Now again, it's going to add that to that bottom of that selection pane, which I don't want. So you put it right down into here. Alright, so I'm going to go to Format, bring to front. There we are. And resize that. And I'm going to, let's just stick you right here. Turn off that snap object so I can get it kind of nice and aligned. There we are. Alright. Get a nice, simple little box right here that we can have to pop up and down. Now, the two things that we want to create, now that we've done this, we need to create two bookmarks for this thing. Because these buttons aren't going to do anything on their own. They need to have something assigned to them. So right now, what I want is that I have these three things here. Now, I want to create a bookmark that will trigger having this little text box visible. Now, I don't need that button in the background to show up. I'm kind of thinking I want to hide that. So that little button over here, you'll notice that it's kind of click the little eyeball here, it disappears. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit bookmarks and say add, bookmark 1. I'm going to say, let's call this info showing. Perfect. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to create an info hidden bookmark that's going to be these three hidden with that button showing now. Now I'm going to say add, rename this as info hidden. There we are. You can see, there you go, there's the toggle. When I click the two of them, it toggles between these. So now, this little icon right here, I select that and I go over to action and I turn that on under visualizations here. I can set it to bookmark and I can set it to info showing. So now, if you hold control, by the way, this is how to mimic the user interface when you are publishing this online. Holding control and I click the button, makes it pop up. Alright, now we have to do this button. I'm going to go action on, set this bookmark to bookmark showing. There we are. Now each time I sorry, I meant bookmark hidden. There we go. Yep, now when I click them, pops this little window up for me. Very easy to do. And again, I'm only throwing a few objects in here. And I'm doing the image as well as the created by and all that, but my final output had a lot more. It had some links and other stuff like that. Just as a quick thing, if you did want a link in here, like I wanted my name to go ahead and hyperlink to, say, PowerPivotPro.com, I can go into here and type in PowerPivotPro.com and hit done, and it would then create a little link in there for me if I needed to. Alright. Well, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, there's more detail on the blog post itself on PowerPivotPro.com. And the other things that I have in here, like forecast adjustment and other things, are in the final report as well to download, where there's links to the other articles that talk about how to do a lot of the other stuff you see in this report. Alright, so again, thanks for watching and looking forward to the next video.